Spirit's saying see things differently. Remember that your security comes from within, and reconnect with your authentic passions and inner wisdom. Okay? Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sacred Season Healing. If you're returning, thank you so much for being here, and if you're new, I'm so glad that you found this community. Here on this channel, we use tarot as a tool for self-reflection, healing, and spiritual growth. In today's reading, we'll be exploring the collective's sacral chakra to discover whether there's an energetic blockage, what may be at the deeper root of that blockage, and what Spirit is guiding us toward on the healing path, and how we can begin integrating that healing into our everyday lives. If you're not familiar with the sacred chakra, I said sacred, sorry, sacral chakra. It's the energy center associated with our emotions, creativity, joy, pleasure, intimacy, our healthy relationships, and our ability to receive and experience life's abundance. When it's balanced, we tend to feel emotionally connected, we're inspired, we're creative, and we're open to life's experiences. But when it's blocked or out of balance, we may struggle with emotional suppression, fear of vulnerability, creative blocks, guilt, codependency, difficulty experiencing joy, or feeling disconnected from ourselves and others. But as always, take what resonates, okay, and leave what doesn't. And remember that these are general collective messages. Trust your own intuition above all else, okay? Let's see what Spirit wants us to know today. Spirit, what is the current energy surrounding the collective sacral chakra, and what is Spirit asking us to become aware of today? Please show us clearly. Thank you, Spirit. What is the current energy surrounding the collective sacral chakra, and what are you asking us, Spirit, to become aware of today? Thank you. Is there anything else? No. Okay. So we have the Hanged Man and the Chariot. Okay. The next question I'd like to ask Spirit, what is the primary blockage or imbalance affecting the collective sacral chakra at this time? Please show us clearly, Spirit. What's the primary blockage or imbalance affecting the collective sacral chakra at this time? Thank you. Is there anything else, Spirit? Okay. We have the Queen of Pentacles. And the last question I'd like to ask for this first half of the reading is, what is the deeper root cause or underlying lesson connected to this blockage, Spirit? What is the deeper root cause or underlying lesson? Oh, thank you. We have the Page of Wands and the Hermit. Okay, and we'll just go through the deck one more time here and see if there's anything else, Spirit, about the deeper root cause or underlying lesson connected to this blockage. Is there anything else you want to show us? Nope. Okay. All right, let's see what the message is here that Spirit gave to us. So the first question, again, what we asked was, what is the current energy surrounding the collective sacral chakra, and what is Spirit asking us to become aware of today? And we got the Hanged Man and the Chariot. So the Hanged Man suggests that many of us may be in a season where life feels like it's paused, you know, like we're just in a standstill, and we may be waiting for clarity, you know, struggling to make a decision, or maybe even feeling like we're not making the progress we'd hoped for, okay? But the hangman reminds us that this pause isn't punishment. It's an invitation to see our circumstances from a new perspective, okay? And the chariot follows by reminding us that movement becomes possible once our inner world is aligned. Before charging ahead, Spirit is asking us to release our old ways of thinking that are keeping us emotionally stuck, okay? So the sacral chakra, it thrives on flow, and when we're clinging to fear or old beliefs, or even trying to control every outcome, that flow becomes restricted, okay? So I think today's awareness is what perspective might need to change before you can move confidently toward the life you're trying to create, okay? And then with the second question, we asked, what is the primary blockage or imbalance affecting the collective sacral chakra? And we got the Queen of Pentacles. So I think that this is basically speaking to security and self-trust. So the Queen of Pentacles, she represents stability, abundance, and knowing that you can create a safe and nurturing life for yourself. If she's showing up as the blockage, it's basically saying maybe that many people may be questioning whether they're capable of supporting themselves or creating the life they truly want, okay? And for some, this could definitely be financial worries, and for others, it may be emotional security, feeling like you may need another person or another job or external validation before you can feel safe, you know? So I think the deeper message is that when we're constantly operating from fear of not having enough, our sacral chakra can close off because it's difficult to experience joy and creativity, intimacy, and pleasure when we're simply trying to survive. Okay, so Spirit may be inviting the collective to begin trusting their own ability to provide for themselves, you know, whether that's emotionally, spiritually, and physically. You really need a balance with all three, okay? And then the third question we asked, what is the deeper root cause or underlying lesson connected to this blockage? Okay, and we got the Page of Wands and the Hermit. So I actually love these two cards together because the Page of Wands, it represents curiosity, inspiration, new passions, creativity, and the excitement of exploring something that lights your soul. Just light your soul on fire, you know? And the Hermit suggests that somewhere along the way, many of us may have become disconnected from that inner spark, you know? Instead of listening to our own inner wisdom, we've looked outside ourselves for certainty, approval, or permission. So the root lesson, I think, may be that we've stopped trusting what genuinely excites us because we're questioning whether it's practical, whether it'll be successful, or whether it'll provide enough stability, okay? So I think Spirit's reminding us that our purpose isn't found by following everyone else's path. It's discovered by going inward, okay? The Hermit asks you to reconnect with your own intuition, while the Page of Wands encourages you to become curious again. So explore your ideas, follow what inspires you. You don't have to know exactly how everything will work out before taking that first step, okay? Sometimes your deepest passions are also the doorway to the stability that you've been searching for, okay? So yeah, it's basically like Spirit saying, see things differently, remember that your security comes from within, and reconnect with your authentic passions and inner wisdom, okay? Okay, So what I'd like to do right now is, before we move into the second half of the reading, and as you can see, I went ahead and pulled the cards already, and I'll go over the meanings of what Spirit has laid out for us here. But before we do that, I'd like to invite you to take a moment to reflect on the first half of this reading, the first message here. You might even want to pause the video and spend a few minutes journaling about what came up for you. A few questions you might want to reflect on is, where in my life do I currently feel stuck or resistant to moving forward? Okay? Is there a different perspective Spirit may be inviting me to consider? What fears or limiting beliefs make me question my own stability or ability to provide for myself? What lights me up or brings me joy that I've been putting on the back burner? And how can I begin trusting my own intuition instead of seeking all the answers outside of myself? Okay? Remember, healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens one moment of awareness, one choice, and one step at a time. So simply just becoming aware of these patterns is already a part of a healing journey for you. Okay? So I really encourage you to reflect on this first half of what the blockage is and the main cause of it, and how it's playing out in your life, okay, personally, because we're all in a little bit different, or maybe I'll say it this way, it may be playing out in different areas of our own personal lives. So just taking a moment to pause and reflect, and maybe answer some of those questions, go within and see what comes forth, might help you realize some things so that you can move forward. Okay? All right, then I asked some other questions, 3 more questions off camera, and we'll go through the meanings of those. Okay? So I asked Spirit what healing path or guidance or next step that Spirit's encouraging the collective to take, to restore balance. Okay, is what I'm trying to say. I can't talk for some reason. I don't know why. And then the next question, what truth or healing perspective or shift in mindset will help the collective release this blockage and move forward with greater confidence, creativity, and emotional flow? And then I asked what blessing, opportunity, spiritual gift, or transformation is likely to unfold as the collective continues healing and balancing their sacral chakra. Okay, so let's jump into that. So with the 5 of Swords here, the 5 of Swords tells me that the healing begins in the mind. Okay, many of us are carrying around inner dialogue that's constantly questioning ourselves. We're replaying old conversations, or criticizing our decisions, or comparing ourselves to others, or telling ourselves stories about why something won't work. Okay, so these are all the negative, but what if this, and what if that don't work, and I'm not good enough, those kind of things that we think all the time, to ourselves. So I think Spirit's inviting us to recognize that not every thought that we have deserves to be believed, okay, as true. Okay, sometimes the greatest battle isn't with another person, it's with the fears and doubts and limiting beliefs that we've been carrying within ourselves. Okay, so the healing path is to become aware of those internal conflicts and consciously choose peace over fear. Instead of fighting yourself, begin speaking to yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would offer someone you love. Okay? So, and I think as those inner battles quiet down, your sacral chakra has more space to experience joy and creativity and emotional connection and inspiration. Okay? Because we ask Spirit what truth or healing perspective or shift in mindset will help us. And we got the Sun, the 8 of Wands, the Queen of Swords, the 7 of Cups, and the Page of Wands. So this is showing a progression here, okay? I'll show you one card at a time as I speak about them. the sun reminds us that joy isn't something we have to earn, it's something we're meant to experience. So give yourself permission to seek what genuinely lights you up, okay? And then the Eight of Wands suggests that once you stop resisting yourself, things are going to begin moving much more quickly than you expect. Energy that has felt stagnant starts flowing again, okay? And with the Queen of Swords here, this encourages us to become honest with ourselves. Just notice which thoughts are based in truth and which are based in fear, okay? Clear away the mental clutter so you can make decisions from clarity instead of anxiety, okay? And then the Seven of Cups reminds us that not every fear is reality, okay? Sometimes we become overwhelmed by imagining every possible thing that could go wrong instead of focusing on the path right in front of us, okay? And then finally, we get the Queen of Wands. She is confident, she's creative, she's passionate, and she's unapologetically herself. She doesn't wait until she feels perfect before taking action, okay? She trusts her gifts and shares them with the world, okay? So I think Spirit is saying that the mindset shift is choose joy over fear, okay? Yeah, choose clarity over confusion, okay? And choose confidence over self-doubt, okay? And when you do, you'll naturally begin creating a life that's more aligned with who you truly are, okay? Now with that, the last question here, the blessing, opportunity, spiritual gift, or transformation that's likely to unfold as we continue our healing. We got the Page of Cups and we got the Fool card, which is absolutely beautiful for ending our reading today, because the Page of Cups represents an open heart, emotional healing, curiosity, creativity, and being willing to see life with fresh eyes, okay? And the Fool, it represents new beginnings, freedom, trust, and taking that first courageous step into a new chapter. So together, these cards suggest that as our sacral chakra heals, we'll begin approaching life differently, right? We'll become more willing to trust ourselves, and we'll explore new opportunities and express our creativity and open our heart again, okay? Yeah, it's like you won't need to have every answer before moving forward, okay? Instead, you'll learn to take one step at a time with faith, curiosity, and hope, okay? So the beautiful thing about the Fool is that every new journey begins with a single step, and Spirit isn't asking you to have your entire future figured out today, you know? Spirit's simply asking you to trust yourself enough to take the next step, okay? Yeah, so let's move into now some healing tools that can support your sacral chakra this week. If you're interested in that, I'll begin with some affirmations, move into some ways you can move your body to get the energy flowing, some meditation and breath work, that kind of stuff, okay? So the first meditation, the first affirmation is, I trust myself and my inner wisdom. I release fear and welcome joy into my life. I am safe to express my creativity and my authentic self. I deserve a life filled with passion, purpose, and abundance. I take one confident step forward each day, okay? The movement, you might want to try dancing to your favorite music, taking a walk near water, practicing gentle yoga with hip opening poses, stretching, or just simply moving your body in a way that feels joyful rather than forced, okay? Now, some meditation and breath work. You could spend a few minutes each day sitting quietly with your breath. As you inhale, imagine a warm orange light filling your lower abdomen. And as you exhale, picture any fear, self-doubt, or emotional heaviness gently leaving your body, okay? Allow yourself to breathe into a sense of openness, creativity, and emotional freedom. Okay, so some crystals. If you enjoy working with crystals, you might want to try carnelian. It's for confidence, creativity, and motivation. You could try orange calcite. It's for joy, emotional healing, and releasing stagnant energy. Or even moonstone, and that's for intuition, emotional balance, and trusting life's natural flow. Okay? Some essential oils you may enjoy diffusing in an oil diffuser are sweet orange, lang lang, sandalwood, jasmine, okay? These are often associated with joy, emotional balance, creativity, and relaxation. Some sound frequencies you might want to listen to are 417 hertz. It's a frequency that's often associated in spiritual practices with releasing old patterns and supporting positive change. So whether or not you attribute specific effects to a frequency, taking a few quiet minutes to relax with calming music, it can be a meaningful part of your self-care routine, you know? So even if it's not the 417 hertz, just relaxing with some calming, peaceful music can really help support your healing journey, okay? So, in closing, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I truly hope this reading brought you some clarity, encouragement, and a reminder to trust yourself as you continue moving forward, okay? Remember, healing isn't about having all the answers overnight. It's about taking one small step at a time, releasing what no longer serves you, and allowing yourself to reconnect with the joy and the creativity and your inner wisdom that have been within you all along, okay? I hope you have a beautiful day. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment in the section below. Let us know what spoke to you the most or how this is playing out in your life if you feel comfortable in sharing that. We're all a community here to support each other. But I hope you have a beautiful day, and until next time, take good care of yourself, trust your intuition, and keep moving forward toward the life that your soul is calling you to create, okay? I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.